and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, India's benchmark equity indices, they raised most part of the gains in yesterday's trading session in just the last hour of trading session. Now, of course, they ended little change, mostly with a negative bias, as losses were seen in heavyweight counters like even Reliance Industries and banking majors like ICICI Bank. The Nifty ended just about 5 points higher in trade and away about 147 from its all-time high levels as well. But it just traded in a range of 200 points in yesterday's trade. The Nifty Bank slipped as private banks and financial services definitely saw selling pressure at higher levels. But there was enough and more action yesterday on several pockets like railways, PSU stocks, housing and construction baskets in the broader markets. Now, what remains to be seen is that whether equity markets will witness another choppy ride today as market participants are bracing up for the May inflation numbers, factory output data, as well as it is the weekly expiry of the Nifty Bank as well. Good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are right in the middle of the week, and on Wednesday, on 12th of June, the markets, whether it's the Nifty or the Nifty Bank, are in a consolidating phase. And why shouldn't they be? Last week, you've seen a massive rally. So volatility is seeping out. India VIX is quietening. And of course, the Nifty is digesting that 720-point rise or 3.3% rally that you've seen last week. Now, what is it likely to do today? Well, it's a very event-heavy day. Let's start with the basics. The daily chart of the Nifty is right there in front of you. 23,264 is the timestamp for yesterday. What's really observant is that for the last 2 days, the Nifty is trying to go beyond 23,400 and is meeting with very strong resistances. So yesterday, it actually fell somewhere like 125 points from its day's high, although it closed flat with a bit of green on it. Now, what are the events lined up because of which you will have a consolidative phase not only in Indian equities but across the board? Three main inflation data, and of course the FOMC meet. The Chinese inflation data is out, flat at 0.3%. So that is out of the system. It is now priced into the market. Now let's look at the US number. It's supposed to be CPI inflation for the month of May is supposed to be 0.1%. The number is likely today evening. More importantly, it's the US FOMC meet, which we'll be reacting to on our weekly expiry date tomorrow. So absolutely flat is what I expect the markets to be today, as also the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty. Now, what else is lined up? The Indian inflation number for the month of May, CPI, will come at 5 p.m. So flat markets for today, flat Bank Nifty for you as far as the weekly expiry is concerned. And one more important thing, Sakshi, Monday is a holiday. Therefore, whatever weekly expiries start from tomorrow, which is the Nifty Bank, and day after tomorrow, Friday, which is Nifty, will have one less day. So options premia will be absolutely scrunched and a lot of volatility will happen because you have one less day to trade. Please keep that in mind if you're a options buyer or a seller. Now, what are the other events, Sakshi? If the markets are flat, that means investors will not be keeping quiet. They'll see the progress of the monsoon across the country. As you know, it's right over Maharashtra, and now you will see it moving towards the plains, toward us. Let's see it hit us soon. But again, agri will be a theme to be looked forward. Fertilizer stocks, which rested yesterday, may move up. Sugar stocks, which surged yesterday, may quieten down. Agri-chemicals and chemical stocks will be in focus on the long side. What also is Sakshi interesting is the 100-day roadmap that different ministries will now be revealing, and of course the run up to the budget. We are also getting prepared for that. In the first week of July, or maybe in the first 10 days of the next month, you'll see the new budget and the new government taking stance. As far as the option chain is concerned, Sakshi, very strong support for the Nifty at 23,200. Lot of put writing is happening there, so that's a very good support. The Nifty, as we've mentioned earlier, has been unable to crack 23,400. That remains a very stubborn resistance. But what's really interesting is that at 23,500 there is some call unwinding happening. So some traders are positioning themselves for a nice bump up on the index based on whatever news flow that might come in. But what is really interesting and thing to note, Sakshi, this is not a market to short. Please do not short the market because you think there was a 720 point rise last week, and of course the Nifty is consolidating, the events are over, India VIX has cooled down. Sakshi, India VIX was down 10% yesterday. Let's see if we can put out the graph for India VIX. That will be something interesting to watch too, and that is a heave of relief that at least I have taken. It's yes, that's the lovely graph that you have, and down for the fourth day in a row, down 10%. So these are the themes that I have in mind. Flat trade on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, consolidating phase, and more importantly, Sakshi, at 11:27, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, 11:27 a.m., Mr. Chandrababu Naidu will be taking oath as the new Chief Minister for Andhra Pradesh. Evening, the action shifts to Odisha, where Mr. Mohan Charan Manjhi will be sworn in as the new Chief Minister for the mineral-rich state. Prime Minister Modi is supposed to attend both events. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Let's also look at how the overnight cues are shaping up for the markets now domestically. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq on the Wall Street ended at record highs for the second straight trading session, led by a sharp rally in Apple shares. Now tonight, the US Fed rate decision is likely to dictate the trend even for the US markets overnight and then for the emerging markets thereafter. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones, however, slipped about 0.3% in trade and could not match up to the gains in the Nasdaq and S&P 500. Now, when we talk about the crude levels, the Brent crude was trading about 0.2% higher at $82 a barrel. So we'll continue to watch out for how the crude oil prices move from here. Gold prices have been quieter, 0.2% of a decline at $23.11 an ounce as well. As far as the Asian markets are concerned, they shrugged off a positive US session and opened lower as the double whammy of US inflation data and Federal Reserve decision landing later in the day have been keeping the traders on the edge. So about a 0.8% of a decline for the Nikkei. Kospi managed to eke out about 0.3% gains, but Hang Seng down by about 1.5% and Shanghai just about flat with a positive bias. The GIFT Nifty is now indicating a flat start above 23,300 for the Nifty back home. As far as the flows are concerned on the foreign territory, so foreign investors were net sellers in yesterday's trading session. They pulled out about 111 odd crore rupees worth of stocks on Tuesday. This is after 2 days of buying in the Indian equities, whereas the domestic institutional investors, they net bought shares worth about 3,193 odd crore rupees as well. Now, a whole host of stocks that we will be continuing to keep an eye out on today. One, we'll look at the shares of the automobile companies, mainly those operating in the EV space. Why? Because there will also be a focus of an IPO coming into this space. Ola Electric has received SEBI's approval for 7,250 crore rupees of an IPO. So we'll continue to watch out for the entire space. Tata Steel is going to be in focus. The company is expressing concern about policy differences between the UK government and the opposition on the transformation plan at Port Talbot in Wales. Tata Steel has said that it will continue with the announced closure of the heavy end assets and restructuring program in the coming months going forward from here. So we'll continue to watch out for that news development based impact on the stock. HCL Technologies, the company has signed a $278 million deal with Germany's largest cooperative primary bank, Apple Bank, for 7.5 years. So there could be a positive traction on this one. Yesterday, the stock was higher by 0.7%. TCS will be in focus. The company has launched a new Internet of Things engineering lab in Ohio for manufacturing energy and consumer solutions. The other one is importantly going to be TVS Supply Chain Solutions. The company has said that it has won a significant 5-year strategic contract with Daimler Truck Southeast Asia, a subsidiary of Daimler Truck AG, and this deal designates TVS SCS as the primary logistics partner for Daimler Truck AG, the world's largest commercial vehicle manufacturer across the Asia Pacific region. So there could be some more uptick on this one. BL Kashyap and Sons, the company has secured 2 new orders aggregating 1,021 crores, and these include a construction order worth 924 crores from DLF City and a civil construction order worth 97 odd crore rupees from Satwa Homes. The total order books stands at 3545 odd crore rupees. Union Bank of India, I'm keeping an eye out on this one because the board of directors has given a green light to capital raising plan of up to 10,000 odd crore rupees as well. From the pharma pack, I'm looking at Cipla. Patna tax office has ruled against the company on input tax credit. Now the company is going to be appealing to the higher authority. Indigo, for the second day in a row, we'll keep an eye out on. Remember, yesterday Rahul Bhatia's Interglobe Aviations divested about 2% stake in a low-cost airline for 3367 odd crore rupees. The deal was executed at an average price of 4,362 per share, and concurrently Citi Group Global Markets Mauritius has acquired 31 lakh shares representing about 0.8% stake in Interglobe Aviation for about 1362 odd crore rupees as well. So those are the key stocks that I'm keeping an eye out on, Shail.
Right, Sakshi, and add to this list, two major block deals that happened yesterday. Om Infra at about 148 rupees and Adur Welding. Quant Mutual Fund, one of the finest quantitative mutual funds in India, has picked up stake in both these companies. The stocks will be reacting positively. Om Infra was up 7% yesterday, and Adur also showed very smart double-digit gains. Well, as good a time as any to welcome our friend Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Securities. A very good morning to you, Gaurang, and welcome on Business Today. As always, the mood is set for you. Green across the board, a bit of how should I say, resistance at 23,400 on the Nifty, and the entire world is watching with bated breath what the US Federal Reserve will say in its opening commentary on interest rates. How do you feel, and what's the way ahead?
Thank you very much, Shail. Morning to all of you. And I hope the shade of the market is replicating what your tie color is replicating, Shail. So, I mean,
yes, it is.
I hope, but I think over the last week, since the time we saw the pre-exit polls on Monday, 3rd of June, then the exit poll result on 4th of June, the levels that we were over there, and the fantastic recovery that we've seen, and new all-time high. I think it is only prudent for markets to consolidate now. I think the political big event and the outcome is now behind us. Let us wait for the policy reforms to come through. Let us wait for the highlights of the budget. It is good to see that 4 heavyweight lifting portfolios in the cabinet have remained, and the ministers by and large are the same, so the continuity is there. My sense is that notwithstanding what happens in the near term, Shell, because I don't look at much of short term, near term, we are probably placing ourselves for a decent rally at least by this year end. And if I have to just put one point against that argument, supporting my argument, Shell, is the huge inflow that we saw in the month of May and the data that the AMFI showed us. So I'm very optimistic if we, and let us hope that there is some consolidation. There is no such gray area or negative news flow where I see a huge correction coming in. Fed and the chief, I think let them sing a song and dance as they want to do, Shell. I am really not bothered about what the Fed does. And I've been very vocal and absolutely clear about what my own opinion is as far as the US interest rates are concerned. So let them do what they have to do. I think we have to bother what the Honorable RBI Governor told us last week on Friday, 7th that is. And for the 8th consecutive time, we've been a status quo on the interest rates. His statements were extremely supportive on fallback of monsoon, agri-productivity, inflation, GDP growth, etc., etc. And of course, from next month onwards, we'll be concentrating and talking about the first quarter earnings for this financial year. So, I mean, I think we should see a little bit of pullback in the market, but nothing very severe.
Yes. Gaurang, you have the 100-day agenda in front of you, and of course, the run up to the budget. And favorite sectors are again back in action: sugar, fertilizer, agri chemicals, so on and so forth. Ancillaries that work for sugar, ancillaries that work for fertilizers. Within your own research house, what are the two sectors you think will have the maximum play, maximum weightage in the budget, and how are you helping your investors to position themselves?
So one thing that the Honorable Prime Minister has already done is the Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana. 3 crore houses are to be built in the next couple of years. I think cement, pipes and fitting, electrical peripherals like wires and cables, electrical appliances like basic LED bulbs, tubes, new age fans, coolers, etc. will do well. With monsoon coming in, I think you rightly mentioned fertilizer sector. Even something like sectors which are supporting the agri irrigation theme, like uh, pumping system manufacturing companies, or maybe companies which are into manufacturing of stabilizers, etc. Purely keeping in mind that theme, because the Honorable Prime Minister has already gone vocal to tell us about what his thought process is for the next 5 years with respect to eradicating unemployment, pushing agriculture with new modernized technology, and of course creating employment. Broadly speaking, I think these are the sectors which will be in focus with the government policies unfolding, Shell.
Good morning to you, Gaurang. Rightly pointed out by you, the key sectors, and I will take this question a little forward to understand in the run up to the budget now. How are you really looking at one, this infra based story versus something that was being talked about the last week, rural recovery as the government's new focus, welfare schemes? So, how should one be approaching these two spaces now?
Wanted to as well, Sakshi. So, see, purely establishing your investment theory only on budget will not be a right approach, Sakshi. And every year we have budget coming through, and every year reforms come through. My my focus or my strength in terms of positivity for sector will be how durable that growth story is all about. So I think, like I mentioned, IT banking. I think banking, especially the small finance bank and microfinance, I think that's where you will see. Of course, I'm not saying that we don't like private sector banks or public sector banks, but if I have to really focus upon, and of course, keeping in mind, Sakshi, the return of the run rate in terms of return of principal and interest for these microfinance companies is almost 90-95% plus, purely because of their ticket size being small, and the EMIs of principal and interest coming through is also very, very small. So you have names like AU Small Finance, you have names like Ujjivan Small Finance, you have names like Equitas Small Finance, and there are many more strong companies over there as well. So that's going to be a core focus. And I think if the MSME SME sector is going to go through a major turnaround, because there is an issue over there, then relative sectors is also going to do pretty well.
Okay. And since you talked about the Awas Yojana, and you did say that, the allied sectors could be benefited, cement, pipes, fittings, electric fittings companies. What about the housing finance companies, something that you've discussed on the channel even before? Is that going to garner even more attention?
And you have good, strong real estate sector also, Sakshi, to pull along.
Yes. Yes.
We know the ticket sizes in NCR, Gurgaon, the number of sales that has happened. Equally in Mumbai, I think in Mumbai the problem is availability of land, and to support that, and of course, I don't know how for how long you have been in Bombay, but Shelva has been in Bombay, and he's seen the kind of congested ground plus 2, ground plus 3 structures which were built in 1940 and 1950. So that redevelopment theme, I think day before yesterday, Raymond got a huge redevelopment project in Bandra BKC, where my office operates from. So similar is the theme, Sakshi. I think this redevelopment process is one. Second is the cluster redevelopment, and third is the society redevelopment. So if the real estate sector has to do well, to answer your question now, housing finance companies, they are also equally going to do well. That's one positive. Second positive is the likely possibility of interest rates coming down so that the individual EMIs will come down. We have two investment ideas over here, LIC Housing Finance and Canfin Homes. I think it is time for LIC and Canfin Homes to show its colors.
Okay. Sakshi, just to take Gaurang's conversation forward on Mumbai real estate, the plot that he mentions is a 2-acre space in Bandra East, if I'm not mistaken, and that was taken up by Raymond. And yes, I have spent 14 years in Bombay, and I have tales to talk about Mumbai real estate, which are best explained on Instagram. You should try and see those reels where a Delhi boy goes to stay in Mumbai and looks for a flat. They are amazing. And Gaurang, just to put this 2-acre thing in perspective, there is such a shortage of land in Delhi, in Mumbai, that 2-acre is for 2,000 crore rupees. In Delhi, in the center of Delhi, you have lovely houses that have 2-acre, 3-acre, 4-acre gardens. So, Delhi is the place to be. We are waiting, both Sakshi and I, to take you to a very nice, how should I say, culinary tour to Delhi.
Yes.
And it will also include sightseeing in central Delhi, where we can show you those lovely, lovely gardens.
We'll be waiting to be there.
Absolutely. The British High Commission is in central Delhi. They have an 8-acre garden, Gaurang, and that's the largest property after Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is just in 330 acres. It's the largest residential property anywhere in the world, much bigger than Buckingham Palace and so many other things. But that's a very different conversation. Coming back to the markets, yours and mine, the favorite sector, auto. It's going through wonderful times, as also auto ancillaries. 2 or 3 picks from this space where investors, despite the record highs, will still make decent money in the remainder part of the year and maybe in 2025 as well.
So if I had to pick one from auto, then I think post the Q4 numbers, I beg your pardon, last financial year, Tata Motors has corrected to maybe about 950 or thereabouts, and then there has been a range-bound movement between 950 and 1000 levels. Keeping in mind the management's commitment towards making this company debt-free, keeping in mind the likely possibility of Harrier EV launch, and in the near future a launch of not so very mid-size but mid to high-end compact segment sedan in form of Curve, and of course thereafter many more avatars likely to come through in various categories of product offering that they have. Tata Motors would be the first one, Shail. And the second one, if I have to pick one from the auto ancillary space, then I think I'll go with the CIE Automotive. This one has also been consolidating for a long time, and we've seen some upward moves. So these would be the two investment ideas from auto as well as auto ancillary.
Okay, so 4 stocks we've got from you: LIC Housing, Canfin Housing, and of course Tata Motors and CIE Automotives. Remember, CIE Automotives at one point of time was a JV with the Mahindra Group. They sold it back to their French collaborator. Gaurang, before markets open, one very quick view on this 3 crore housing projects that the government of India has announced. 2 stocks where you think they would have the maximum positive impact.
So one company from pipes and fittings and ancillary etc. will be Prince Pipes and Fittings Shell, and one, if I have to choose from the electrical multiple ancillary supplier and electrical equipments, plus you have electrical accessories, is Havells India. So Prince Pipes and Havells India, these would be the two great investment ideas.
Okay, got that. Before the markets hit pre-open, Mitesh is with us. Let's welcome him. Thank you so much, Mitesh, for being with us. Your two top trades before markets open.
Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning, Shailji. Good morning to the panelists of the Darshak Gopi. Good morning. The first talk is from the banking space. We think that now the PSU bank is going to perform very well. So the first pick is Canara Bank. Canara Bank is a buy at 121.23 with a stop of 115.115 for the potential target of 130 and 140. Apart from that, what looks interesting is Adani Port as well. So Adani Port at 1404 is looking very interesting. So with a stop of 1350, one can go long in Adani Port for a potential target of 1450, 1470.
Okay, got that. So we have
Okay,
the
ladies
view.
and gentlemen, we have the pre-open rates. We have the pre-open rates with us, and Sakshi, how I wish this were true.
Yeah.
63 points up on the Nifty, 23,500 has been taken out, but I'm sure this will settle a bit lower. We are expecting flat trade, but why not enjoy the moment as long as it's there? Infosys 34 points higher, 1529. HDFC Bank taking it away, 20 rupees higher, 1585. And of course, you have Reliance now moving 15 rupees higher at 29.29. All 10 index heavyweights are in the green, and this is a lovely day to start not only Bank Nifty's weekly expiry, but even a very nice move on the Nifty as well. Okay, now prices are settling sensibly. What's moving in the green? Let's look at some outperformers. TVS Supply Chain Solutions, Sakshi marked it in stocks and news, 6% higher, 179.65. A 5% uptick on Schneider again, 862. This is what is moving the counter. Now three successive circuits. Prince Pipes, this is something that Gaurang just mentioned. Now 2.1% higher, 686. Yesterday was the turn of Jupiter Wagons and Tex Rail. Today it's Titagarh Wagons moving up 0.8%, 1360. Let's look at FNO stocks that are maturing with gains. $278 million for HCL Technologies, and the counter is up 5%, 1499. What else is moving? You have a nice uptick on Gas Authority, 1.5% higher, 216. BPCL 1.6% higher, 616. What are the most active counters? Okay, nothing much here. How about losers in FNO? Coromandel International is going through a bout of profit booking, 2% lower, 1436. Nothing to be worried about. Dalmia Bharat Limited. Gaurang, this is something that we'll check with you. This is an Odisha based company. The double engine Sarkar of BJP at the state. Mr. Mohan Charan Manji taking his oath as CM, and of course the BJP at the center. Dalmia Bharat, you've talked many times. Any views that have re-emerged on Dalmia Bharat now?
So the numbers for the third and fourth quarter for last financial year of Dalmia Bharat was not so very encouraging, Shell. In fact, we've been tracking this company right from 800,000 odd levels, if my memory serves me right. Extremely positive in terms of the market share, and in terms of the capability of ramping up capacities is also a positivity. And along with that, I think they are processing an integrated power generation, so that their operating cost is well within the control and profit margin improves. 2200 would be the target on the fundamental from a long-term point of view on Dalmia Bharat Cement.
Okay, got that. Let's also look at a few more stocks that are buzzing. BL Kashyap, remember I checked this in the stocks to watch list. The stock is higher by about 6.5%. The company has got two orders worth about 1,021 odd crore rupees. So strong move right there. Apart from this, Go Digit Insurance is moving up. I think there's a 4% move on this one in trade today. So there you have it, 97 level, 97 rupees and 6.5% higher for BL Kashyap, 7.6% now higher for Go Digit, 363 currently. This is an increase on the premium that the company has announced, on the basis of which we are seeing the kind of move on Go Digit. Apart from this, let's also look at GMR Airports Infra. Remember yesterday this was a buzzing stock in the F&O space, and of course we had talked about how there is a link with the Andhra Pradesh as well, and therefore the stock was buzzing a percent into higher. Jeffries has given a new target of 100 rupees on GMR Airports Infra, 92 currently on this one as well. HCL Technologies, a big order flow that's coming in and partnership with Olympus, 2% higher for this one at 1457 at the current moment as well. And TVS Supply Chain already checked by Shell, I think 5% higher, and this is on the basis that the company has signed a significant 5-year strategic contract as well. Let's get Mitesh into the conversation. Mitesh, anything that looks attractive to you in the pre-opening trade that could carry on in the opening?
Yeah, GMR Airport, that is one stock which is looking quite interesting, because if you look at the bounce back from the recent fall, it is commendable. And now the stock is trading above its immediate strong resistance level of 90, which is also acting as a psychological level. So now the race is for getting into the 3-digit mark. So sooner or later, we will be having 100 rupees as the first target. Just as a disclaimer, we have recommended this stock to all our clients, so we have a direct or indirect position in the stock. I don't have any direct or indirect position. But Sakshi, GMR Infra is looking really promising. Being a high beta stock, one need to put the stop loss a bit of a deeper. So if you want to take a call right now, advisable to take in cash segment in a small quantity with a stop of 85 for the first target of 100 and second target of 110 in next 5 to 7 trading sessions.
Okay, now a sensible 80 points higher on the Nifty, 23,334. We'll take it with open arms and with all the gratefulness at our end. A couple of stocks I like to mark. Om Infra Limited, now 6% higher, 141.50. Remember, this is a company where a very well-known high velocity trading mutual fund, Quant, has taken up a stake, 5.5% higher. This is just a very quick look into the deep dive as far as financials are concerned for Om Infra. A market cap of 1287 crores, trailing 12-month earnings of 47 crores, and a revenue of about 1113 crores on a 12-month basis. So it is still available at almost 1:1 market cap, and the company is into construction and engineering space. Keep that in mind as far as prices are concerned. Getting to you, Mitesh, a very warm welcome. Good morning. Let's discuss a couple of stocks in the large cap space and the sugar sector. What, according to you, in the Nifty is the most powerful stock as far as technicals are concerned on the long side?
Good morning, Shailji. You have picked up the right sector, because that is buzzing since last 2 to 3 trading sessions. And I think Balrampur Chini stand out technically. So if you look at the chart pattern of Balrampur Chini, on the weekly chart, it is facing a bit of resistance at 420 odd levels, because that is where a couple of times in the recent past stock has made an attempt but unable to cross. But since last 3 weeks, particularly after forming a bottom at the rate of 375, stock is not only gaining grounds on the basis of delivery based volume, but also adding open interest as well. So we are of the view that the recent high of 3rd May 2024, which is at 409.40, will be taken over sooner than later, and we will be eventually moving towards 420. Once the 420 mark has been crossed, the stock will eventually move to 485. So one stock from the sugar space which is looking very interesting as of now technically is Balrampur Chini.
Okay. How about BPCL? Let me come to you Gaurang, on BPCL, the government has made it very clear that the divestment of BPCL is now completely off the table, given the strength of the balance sheet and the immense profit that the company is generating. One, how will it impact long-term investors of this stock, because BPCL was primarily purchased because it would be privatized? Your view?
You know, sitting on a fence, Shell, with divestment of Navratna companies is something that is not advisable at all. We all know the entire verbatim and the comments made by the government with respect to divestment of BPCL. They had even gone to the extent of saying whether they want to divest in parts or in one piece. Euphoria created from 3,320, the stock rallied up to 580, 600 on fallback of all that. And then everything fizzled out. So, I mean, you need to be a little bit careful and cautious. I hope this time around the Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, in the budget, uh, you know, does make any. I'm not saying that those statements are not concrete, but you know, concrete statements need to be supported by ground level execution work, which is not visible as far as the divestment process is concerned. Let me give a blanket disclosure over here. Since a very long time, we've been positive on all the three oil marketing companies, including two exploration companies. Oil marketing companies are HPCL, BPCL, IOC, and exploration companies like ONGC and GAIL.
Okay, got that. As the market settled in the pre-open, there is an indication that mid-caps could be opening at record high levels, 53,911 for the Nifty Mid-Cap 100 Index. So, the strong move that continues on that front as well. Let me come to you, Mitesh. How are you looking at this comeback of sorts for the broader markets, mid and the small caps now? And where exactly are you keeping your focus within the mid-cap category?
Sorry, let me unmute. Okay,
Yeah.
so two things. See, the kind of comeback which we have witnessed in small and mid cap, we need to be careful. Reason being is this, that this is a vertical rally. Now, we have discussed this thing in past as well. What is looking promising post this verdict is this, that the biggest takeaway technically for us is that now the bottom is in place, which means that on as far as trend reversal is concerned, at least we have levers where we can sit on cash if those respective levers will be broken. That is the low on 4th of June, which the market has made. Now, the theme which is playing right now, we are of the view is the R3. First is that the entire MNC space is buzzing, which we had discussed earlier as well. So if you look at the stocks like Pfizer going forward, Honeywell or a 3M, those stocks we are of the view that are going to deliver a promising return in next 3 to 6 months technically. Second thing which is buzzing, which Shailji has rightly discussed, is about the sugar. And third thing which we are of the view that going forward, which will buzz, is the specialty chemical theme in the near future. For example, if you look at the Vinity Organics, if you look at Balaji Amines, these are the stocks which are coming back so sharply. So we are of the view that now one should focus on the sectorial shift, and one need to be very clear with the simple strategy, that is a trailing stop loss strategy, because now onwards, as we have bottom in place, the ride going forward will be definitely bumpy, and one need to be extremely choosy in terms of stocks. Otherwise, in this year, probably there are strong chances that your portfolio will underperform by a big margin.
Okay, got that. Let me just take one view from Gaurang on Indigo. 4390, half odd percent higher is what it is indicating. This is right after the big block deal that has taken place as of yesterday. How are you really looking at Interglobe Aviation now? The kind of dips that it has shown in the last few trading sessions after this, has this given you more promising entry points?
Actually, as a blanket disclosure, during the IPO, which was many years back, we had come out with an IPO, and then after that, maintaining our positive view in terms of the fundamental strength of this particular company, given the fact that it is the largest LCC, so-called low-cost carrier. It is nowhere close to that. It is more of a luxury ticket pricing or a full-fledged service airline rather than an LCC model. Largest fleet, best realization, more fleets, more aircrafts to be added to the fleet. And this, whether it is the family of either of the partners, uh, this does not impact the fundamental functioning of the company. And I'm very clear about it because this is not the first time. It has been multiple times in the past that these kind of block deals, either of the family members or any large investor, has existed. I think this stock is possibly rallying towards 5,500 and 6,000 on earnings visibility.
Right. Let me just start on a very strong note. Let's look at stocks that are already at circuit. Another one for Dredging Corp, 10% higher. Remember, the company won a 2,000 crore rupee order in the fag end of the market yesterday. So 1129, this is a record high. Schneider, 5% up. There are other stocks. TRIL, 5% higher. The company is planning a QIP of 500 crore rupees. And it's a unidirectional one-way stock ever since its earnings came in. So these are the 2 or 3 stocks that are doing well. There are so many on the 5% circuit, but these are the ones that I am comfortable taking names on air. How about most active as far as NSE is concerned? Anything that is interesting? Yes, IRB Infra. Yesterday's deal boy, 5% stake sale by one of the holders, and the stock is back in the green. It was a top loser yesterday, 1.7% lower. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have prices for you. 52 points higher on the Nifty, 23,310. Nifty Bank is flat. Okay, IT is back with a bang, a 300-point uptick on the Nifty IT index. Remember, a lot of profit booking happening yesterday. Let's drill down into the top traded counters. We'll start with Infosys for a change. Let's see what Infosys is doing. 9 rupees higher, 1503. How about TCS? TCS 18 rupees higher, 3871. HDFC Bank 10 rupees higher, 1574. And Reliance flat at 2913. Amongst the top 10 index heavyweights, 5 are in the green, 5 are in the red. ICICI and SBI mildly in the red. Lever 6 rupees lower, nothing to be worried about. Let's shift focus immediately to what's happening in the NSE 500 list. Okay, Sakshi. TVS Supply Chain Solutions. Around IPO price, top gainer 7% higher, 181. Schneider Circuit 5%. Oracle Financial Services. Remember, yesterday in the US markets, Oracle rose about 7% on a spate of announcements. The counter is 4.5% higher at 8827. Rural focus themes, KSB Pumps 3% higher, 4832. Green tick on Titagarh, 0.7% higher. Avas Financiers 0.5% higher. Tube Investments, this is a 160 crore investment in their green mobility unit. The counter is 4% higher, 4228. Needless to say, a record high. Anything in most actives? IRB. This is something that we'll check with Mitesh. 2.5% higher, 67.67. Coming to you, Mitesh. IRB Infra. What views?
See, as far as IB Infra is concerned, yeah, looking very interesting. 60 above 65 stock has given a strong breakout. So I think Shailji, in the next half an hour, that is half an hour candle, if the stock managed to trade above 65 years, it's definitely a buy for 3 days. And in that case, 64.50 should be your stop, and the first target should be and must be 72 followed by 75.
Okay, got that. Let's also look at the entire IT space once again. HCL Tech now 2.2% higher. Remember, the company has signed a big contract, and Tech Mahindra follows about 2% higher. Wipro is up and about. LTI Mindtree is also in the thick of action. Infosys, TCS, they're all rising in trade. And of course, in the F&O space, like Shail pointed out, Oracle Financial Services, following that is HCL Tech and also Tech Mahindra. So let's get and also Persistent Systems. Gaurang's view here. The entire IT space back in action. Of course, this has not been a very sustainable trend. It goes up and then it falls flat again. What is the kind of sense and approach that one should be really having towards IT space, Gaurang?
purely long term with 1.5 to plus kind of time horizon, Sakshi. And very often
Yeah.
when the markets go through that turmoil and turbulence, flight to safety is the very common terminology that we hear in the markets with respect to pharma and IT. And then when everything goes hunky dory, these two are forgotten and the more aggressive ones are in the limelight and spotlight. Our sense is that from quarter two this financial year, you will see a decent improvement, not a very significant one, with respect to the earnings, and then you will have the re-rating coming through. We maintain a positive view on all the best placed large cap names, select mid cap, and some very select small cap names. TCS, HCL Tech, and Tech Mahindra as a top priority amongst the large cap names. And in the mid cap arena, we like Coforge, Cyient Limited, Tata LXI, KPIT, and the new kid on the block not so very long ago, a company from the Tata Group which got listed at about 1000 plus. The floor price was 585. Tata Technologies, I'm talking about. Purely basing our IPO note as a thesis for the recommendation.
Right. Okay, so that's the IT view coming in on that front. Mitesh, anything that looks promising to you on the charts for today? What will carry on the trade within the IT pack?
Within the IT pack, I think what is looking very interesting as of now is HCL Tech. If you look at the stock has given a breakout about 1450, and in the early hours of trade, it is up by 2.10% as far as the FNO is concerned. So at 1460, HCL Tech is definitely a positional buy with a stop of 1420 for a potential target of 1500 and 1520.
Okay, Sakshi, I think we'll have to focus on Oracle Finance.
Yeah.
This is the top gainer in FNO, 5.5% higher, and surprisingly, the open interest is of course 4% higher as well. This is high ticket. What can we do? We are just takers of price as far as markets are concerned. Mitesh, this is of course driven by a very strong move in the overseas parent. Would you have a view on Oracle Financial Services? I believe this is a record high.
Yes, if Oracle Finance is concerned, yeah, definitely would like to buy at the current level, and it is again in the race of reaching that 10,000 magical mark, like the Dixon, what we have seen in Dixon. So yeah, with a stop of at least 8,500, 8,500, Oracle Finance is a buy for the first target of 9,500 and second target of 10,000 at least in the next 2 to 3 trading sessions. Shailji, the initial buying of just 6 minutes is showing that probably there is no surprise that the 9,500 mark can be achieved today itself.
Okay, Sakshi, I think we'll also point out the Nifty IT index. Now, this is the top gainer, 1.35% higher, 458. Let me just see the positioning on the charts as far as the IT index is concerned. Yes, this is a very, very strong move, and it's trying to consolidate. It's trying to rise after last 2 days drubbing. So this is the top performing index as far as gains are concerned, and across the board, tactically within the FNO space, you have amongst the top 10 gainers, 4 of them are IT stocks. L&T Mindtree, expansion in Saudi Arabia, Middle East, Riyadh, they've opened an office, 2% higher. Tech Mahindra, 1.5% higher. HCL Tech, 1.6% higher. And of course, the top spot goes to Oracle Finance. And one more counter, Sakshi, Birla Soft, 1.5% higher. Wipro, Persistent, Coforge, the list goes on. In the top 15, you have perhaps 8 IT companies. Mitesh, a very quick one on Birla Soft.
Yeah, Birla Soft, again, very interesting counter. Early in the morning, it is showing a buzz, and I am of the view that going forward, the stock needs to clear its immediate hurdle of 690, Shailji. If it clears 690, probably the stock is up for 710, 715. So I'll wait and watch for the stock to cross above 690.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at some of the big movers from the broader markets then. Something that we had pointed out yesterday, in fact, Shail had pointed out, Dredging Corporation. It's again another 10% higher in trade. Remember, there was a big order, 2016 odd crore rupees that the company had received, and the stock is up about 10% again in trade today, 1129. Let's again look at some other movers, big movers. HEG Infra Projects, strong move again on this one. It's a 9.9% higher. I think now it's hitting upper circuit. Om Infra is up by 8%. MBL Infra is up. So the entire infra space is buzzing from the broader market space. Apart from this, we're also looking at stocks like Praj Industries, that's again up 5.5%. Shipping Corporation of India is back in action, 5.5% high in trade for this one as well. IOL Chemicals and Pharma, that's another one that's ticking higher by about 5 odd percent. Dynamic Cables, that's up by about 9.8% higher in trade again. Camlin Fine Sciences is up by about 7 odd percent. That's the entire list of big movers within the broader markets for you. Mitesh, anything that ticks your attention within the broader market space and the strong move that is being seen across the board?
I think Praj Industry is looking very interesting. The name which you have mentioned, I think the stock is in the process of a very strong up move, and after the consolidation, the stock is now probably heading for a new high. So at the current level, we are of the view that the stock has the ability to enter into a new trading range. So yes, Praj is at the current level, it's a buy opportunity.
Okay, you know, the mid cap index is now above 54,000 mark, viewers, so 0.7% of an uptick that can be seen on this one. Let's look at the strong stocks. Of course, apart from Oracle Financial Services, Max Healthcare is up by 3.5. You have LIC Housing Finance that Gaurang had hinted, 3% higher. Petronet LNG is up by 3%, Oil India is up by 2%, HPCL, Cummins India, Tube Investments, Astral, RVNL is again up 1.5%, Sona BLW Precision, Persistent Systems, Coforge. Those are the kind of stocks that are buzzing in trade. Gaurang, let's get your view in. Mid caps, how are you really looking at the opportunities here? Are you looking at key sectors or just stock specific? And if yes, if you could highlight any?
So mid-cap cement, Sakshi, mid-cap hospitality companies like Indian Hotels, mid-cap cement, we mentioned about Dalmia Bharat. There are two more, Birla Corp and Ramco Cement. Mid-cap opportunities in FMCG, and I think possibly you can even look at some of the small or mid-cap NBFC companies, something like an L&T Finance and Holding, or even something like in the auto play, as Shail myself regularly discuss, Ashok Leyland looks quite attractive. So you need to be very stock specific, sector specific and stock specific with respect to small cap universe or micro cap universe, as you call it. But amongst the decent sectors and strong mid cap plays, I think you should just stick to the basic 4 or 5 sectors.
Okay, Sakshi, I think we'll pay attention to the PSU basket. Very strong gains. Nothing we can do on dredging. Again, 10%. Now let's look at the energy basket within PSU stocks. So Gas Authority is 3.3% higher, 220. You have Power Finance Corporation at about 489, going strong. SGVN and Coal India are up 1.8 and 1.7% respectively, and of course there is no stopping IOC, HPCL and BPCL. So these are the stocks that are doing phenomenally well in trade today. Let's look at volume buzzers. Now is the time, because the first 15 minutes have lapsed, and we'll have some good action coming into volume buzzers. Let's see what's coming. Okay, Sakshi, I think we need to take a view on TVS Supply Chain Solutions. 29 lakh shares have been traded. Miteshji, coming to you. This is a counter which is still around its IPO price, if not below, 182 rupees. What are the charts telling you? I know there is less of data, but let's just make an effort on TVS Supply Chain Solutions?
Exactly, Shaljit. Technically, the data is not that, that much so that I can give you a sustainable view. But yeah, whatever data I have, I can say that 160 is a stop, very strong support. So one should have a stop loss of 160 and just buy the stock because it is looking promising above 175. So with a stop of 160, just buy the stock at 181 right now and keep trailing the stop losses. Since the history is not that strong, so I cannot be able to comment on the higher side like 220, 250 is achievable during what time. But yeah, with a stop of 160, buy at 181, structure is good. It is promising. It's a trend reversal above 175, which has been confirmed both on daily and weekly chart. So with a trailing stop loss, we can continue to counter. Probably at the higher level, we'll talk or we'll revise our upside target. But as of now, only with a stop of 160, one can go long.
Okay, like I had mentioned, it's very close to its IPO price of 197 rupees, in fact below it, and the all-time high on TVS Solutions is somewhere like 257. It got listed in the late part of August 2023. A little of price action, but from what I see, the stock is looking good. I think, Sakshi, let's get Gaurang into the conversation and check out Polycab. Gaurang, Sakshi and I were talking about it yesterday also. In less than 3 months, the stock has doubled, 3,500 to 7,000, and still there is absolutely no let up. What's happening, and how do you react to large caps doubling? Is this something to be worried about, or are we missing? What do we don't know?
So like I mentioned, this is a classic example. In fact, on Polycab India Limited, we have a coverage on the fundamental side, Shail. And my sense is that similar companies, these are not recommendation. I'm just taking names as to which are the other strong companies that you can look at. So you have KEI Industries. You have something like Phenolics Cables, which has also been a very stellar performer over the last year and a half. And you have other related companies which are doing extremely well. And if you just have to, replicate the kind of policy decisions that the government is likely to unfold, and with respect to even urbanized housing or, home upgrades or home deco, etc., I think people are now opting for higher priced, relatively more safer cables and wires rather than your cheap Chinese that is available in the market. So possibly there is an equally strong replacement demand for this particular sector as well. I don't think you need to worry if you are a long-term investor. If you are a short to medium term, I would rather request you to depend upon your wisdom and fine sense of judgment.
Okay, so viewers, there is this update that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be reaching North Block in just a few minutes from now. She's already left her home to assume office as the Finance Minister in her next term. And while yesterday we already saw some action coming in on the devolution of some taxes, the big task ahead of her is to really present the full budget less than a month from now, most likely. Gaurang, your own sense as to what will the markets be really expecting from the budget this time? We have already discussed a lot in the interim budget. Nothing much really happened, and then things were put in the back burner for the final budget. But will the budget have anything to lift the market sentiments even higher from the near record high levels that we are trading at?
Lakshya, I will only answer this in one sentence. Expect the least and let the best come through. I think that's the best approach to go into the budget, to be because there is a lot of expectation and euphoria. Everybody wants a big share of whatever the Honorable Finance Minister has to deliver. But one has to think logically also, Sakshi. She cannot please each and every section with lot of lollipops or maybe, freebies. And one has to also think about a discipline and a tightrope walk with respect to the growth story of the great Bharat that we live in. So expect the least and let the best unfold.
Okay, that's a wonderful way to put it, Gaurang, and we'll thank you on that note. Thank you so much for being with us on this very special edition. Always a pleasure to host you on Business Today and on Market Today, and we'll get you back very, very soon to discuss more about interesting stuff on the markets too. Let's get back to a conversation with Mitesh now. Mitesh, a lot is being already talked about, that welfare schemes could be perhaps in the offing in the budget, rural focus could be back in the budget. Are you looking at the consumption theme, farm, fertilizer theme as well, right ahead of the budget? Could this be the focus of the traders over the next 1 month?
Sakshi, just to add few lines here, we recently issued a letter to all our investors and traders with a caption, no one knows, but everyone predicts. So let the event fold out. We are of the view that the market is giving us a very clear signal that one should not, at least for 2024, juggle into any kind of a judgment, because everything has gone wrong in last few weeks. So better let us wait for the sector or the stock to emerge. As I said, as of now, what is looking promising is what Sanjay has said in his initial remark. Sugar is looking very promising. Technically, based on our system and method, what we are sensing is this, that the MNC stocks are looking very promising. And apart from that, specialty chemicals. So these are the three spaces which we are watching.
Okay, so there you have, viewers, on your screens, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reaching North Block and to assume office as a Finance Minister in her second term. Remember, she's already released 2 tax devolution installments as of yesterday, totaling 1,39,751 odd crore rupees to 28 states as of yesterday. This is her first day as the finance minister in Modi 3.0 regime, and this is going to be extremely important to see what is going to be on her top agenda as well. We will try and get you in a while our reporter Karishma Sudani as well, who is right there to track finance minister's first day at office. Let us see what she gets to us as to what finance minister has said in her first statements as the finance minister as well. So congratulations pouring in on her day one, and of course a month from now, as sources have told Business Today television earlier, that the budget could be presented on 8th of July. So we are just less than a month ago. We'll see whether the finance minister, what she says, will be her top focus right now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at a couple of stocks as far as markets are concerned. Sakshi, 4 digits are back on Tata Motors. This is a welcome relief, 1.2% higher. A fresh record high on Ashok Leyland, that's doing pretty well, 240.79 in front of me. Decent block deals happening there. And we also have a decent move in HPCL, 536. This is 2% higher. The focus is entirely on BPCL, Miteshji, but people also miss out on HPCL. Would you have a view on HPCL and then probably Tata Motors?
So first, let me start with Tata Motors. As you have rightly pointed out, that now the stock has entered into the 4 digit, and the stock is actually waiting for that. So above the psychological level of 1,000, the stock will enter into a new trading range. So definitely the stock of 980, which is a very strong support, both on weekly and hourly chart, one should go long in Tata Motor at the current level for a target of 120, 140 in next 2 to 3 trading sessions. Apart from that, within HPCL, I think within that space, we'll definitely comment on HPCL, that at the current level, HPCL is looking promising, and with a stop of close to 520, one can go long for a potential target of 550, 560 in the near term. But Shailji, within the same space, what is looking very promising is ONGC. If you look at the structure of ONGC, I mean, the stock has made a couple of attempts to cross 292, but failed to do so. At the same time, at the lower end, stock is unable to sustain below 265. So we are of the view that ONGC is going to be one of the dark horse within this entire space technically. So with a stop of 260, one can go long, and this time it will cross 291 and probably enter into the range of 300, 310. So ONGC is looking technically very promising at the current level.
Yes, and yesterday there was, I think, a CLSA report which mentioned that relative to itself, ONGC has corrected very, very sharply, and the valuations at this point are extremely juicy. Go for it. I think the market took it literally. One more stock I like to mention is Tanla Platforms. Sakshi, given the frenzy that we have on IT, this is doing very well. 6.5% higher, 982. And already 104 crores worth of transactions have happened. Your shot at it, Mitesh ji, what are Tanla's charts telling you? A very strong bounce from 21 EMA.
Yes, LG, definitely. A very strong counter you have identified. The stock has recently corrected from 1250 odd levels from 12th of January, and it has formed a bottom at around 820, 830 odd levels. But since last 2 or 3 days, the activity is looking promising, especially the stock has crossed 911. After that, the stock is forming high top, high bottom formation on the daily chart. And we are of the view that with a stop of 879, which is a low on 6th of June 2024, one should go long at the current level for a potential target of 1008 and 1050 in the next 7 to 8 trading sessions. Looking, the chart at the structure is looking very promising.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on Tanla Platforms, and clearly it's the IT space that's buzzing with 0.8% gains, but it's the oil and gas and the media stocks also firing away. Oil and gas index is now up by 1.4%, and Oil India, GAIL, BPCL, HPCL, IOC, these are the top movers. ONGC also about 1.5% higher in trade right now. Let's ask Mitesh if there is anything interesting within the oil and gas basket on the charts right now. Mitesh, what will you track, and is this a sustainable move?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, we have just now discussed, Sakshi. ONGC is looking very promising from oil and gas sector, and I think, yeah, the stock is up for 300 plus levels, so that is one stock which one should eye at. Apart from that, if you technically look at my second pick from this basket is definitely IOC. If you look at IOC, the stock is making a sort of a bottom at the current level, and now there are strong possibilities that stock will, with a stop of 165, once the stock closes above 172 on an hourly chart, a furious rally can be seen in IOC, and immediately one can eye at 180, 190 kind of a target. So in the picking order, first is ONGC followed by IOC. Very promising chart pattern, and for IOC, it's just a matter of crossing 172, the stock will fire and we'll have 180 straight away.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on the oil and gas space. Let's again see if we can figure out anything else. I think Videsh had talked about Balrampur Chini. Now it's moved to the top spot in the FNO space, 4.5% higher as well. What next for Balrampur Chini?
See, Sakshi, in the cyclical spaces, whenever the rally unfolds, it unfolds very heavily. I mean, we have seen that in the fertilizer space, we have seen that in oil and gas sector. So I think now once the rally starts, probably it will end at 480 to 520 band. So we are of the view that just have your trailing stop loss in place at around 395 and keep taking advantage of this rally. No need to book profit at any given point of time unless and until the trend reverses. Because in a stocks like fertilizer, in a stocks like sugar, once the rally starts on either side, it gives at least 25-30% kind of a return in a very short period of time. So what I am looking at in Balrampur Chini is 485.20, but again, with a trailing stop loss, just don't book your profit at 485.20. Whenever the trend reverses, book your profit. Till the trend is intact, please continue with the trailing stop loss.
9:42, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a detour in the broader markets. The Nifty has hit a century and in the green. This is T-1, 1 day before weekly expiry. 105 points higher, 23,371. Sakshi, I'm hoping for two things today. A close above 23,400. That will be a sigh of relief for bulls. Remember, last 2 days, we've come back away very, very sharply. 150 point correction from the peak day before yesterday, 125 point correction from the peak yesterday. So this is critical to see whether the company will be able to lapse beyond whether Nifty will be able to move beyond 23,400. And the entire fertilizer pack is back after resting yesterday. So GSFC at 226.90, 2.3% higher. RCF is 2.3% higher. Fact is 2% higher. Let's get Mitesh ji into the conversation. Your favorite stock on technical charts as far as the fertilizer space is concerned, Mitesh ji?
RCF undoubtedly. I mean, it's phenomenal chart above 162. Now the stock is ready, and I'm rarely saying this on air, but there are strong chances that RCF may hit a circuit sooner than later on the upside, because that's the kind of structure which is advocating the price up move going forward. So yeah, undoubtedly RCF one should go long at the current level with a stop of 160 for a potential upside target of 190 210 going forward.
Okay. Also in thick of trade, Mitesh's first pick, Balrampur Chini, 418 now. Remember, sugar started yesterday. We were the first to pick it up on Business Today. And out of 21 sugar stocks that Business Today tracks, Sakshi, 20 are in the green, led by Ugar Sugar, 3.7% higher, 80 rupees. Magad is in green, 698. Most of these stocks are single digit small PEs, 5, 7, 8 PEs, under owned and under tracked as far as markets are concerned. And given the enthusiasm that we have for the agri space till the budget considerations, as also a very fine monsoon, this is one sector that will remain in shape. And of course fertilizers, RCF taking it away, 168.70. You have a very strong move coming in spaces such as GSFC and GNFC as well. Let me just mark these two. Let's see how much they are trading at. GNFC is 1% higher, 688. GSFC is 2.4% higher, 277. And of course the usual suspects, Fact, RCF, Madras Fertilizers, so on and so forth. The other play that's happening is defense. I think the stock for today will be Mazgaon Docks, given the momentum that we are seeing in terms of volume. So far 4,38,000 shares have been traded in Mazgaon. And Sakshi, remember yesterday we were talking about the telecom sector stocks, Bharti Airtel, Idea Cellular. Well, another one has joined the rally, which is Tata Tele Maharashtra. TTML is how we look at it. This is about 5-7% higher in trade today. Perfectly low beta, low ticket, low beta stock, and of course a correction from a very low level of 65 rupees, which was a multi-month low. Mitesh ji, to you, TTML.
Yeah, so technically, if you look at the TTML, as you rightly said, the stock has corrected very sharply from 2020 high of 219, and since then it is forming lower top, lower bottom formation. Even on any chart pattern like weekly and monthly, it is not suggesting that trend reversal is here to stay. We are of the view that the trend reversal will take place only below 81 if you look at the monthly chart, because that exactly is the high which it has formed on 10th of May 2024. So about 81, I would like to buy the stock. Till that, let us wait and watch, because there are strong chances that probably the follow through will not take place. This might be an intraday spike. So I just need to confirm whether the follow through will take place or not, and also would like to see the delivery based volume in the counter, because generally now the structure suggests that more of an intraday participation will come into the stock rather than a sustainable delivery based volume. So two things: what is the percentage of delivery based volume? First thing. Second thing, whether the stock will be able to sustain about 81 on a weekly basis or not. For a day or so it will sustain, that is not important. Important thing that it should sustain on a weekly basis. So if it sustains on a weekly basis, yes. After that, it's definitely a buy.
Okay. Got that. Mitesh, I'll also ask your view. You must have tracked over the last week the entire Andhra Pradesh related stocks that were in full flavor. Today, Heritage Foods is down by 5% at about 627. But the rest of them are still holding up. So Amara Raja Energy or a KCP, maybe a KNR Constructions, Avanti Feeds. These are all the stocks that are still holding up. How are you looking at this Andhra Pradesh focus stocks? Because today again there will be action. Chandrababu Naidu will be taking oath as the Chief Minister in just about 2 hours from now. How are you looking at these particular stocks?
Yeah, so Sakshi, we look at the structure of the stock preliminary, what our system and methods are telling us, and then we'll take the view. So probably on these kind of a buzz, it is advisable to avoid because these are the short-term spikes which you will see into the counter for a day or a two, and then the once the momentum wipes up, I mean, you are left with nothing but a loss on the balance sheet. So it is better to not to trade on such a short momentum. I think after the reversal, Sakshi, there are many stocks, many themes available at a very attractive risk reward ratio. So let us not get into something where the risk reward ratio is not favorable. Rather than that, we'd like to focus where the sustainability of the trend is visible.
Okay, got that. You know what's ticking higher now within the Nifty? Within the energy basket, it's Coal India, 1.7% higher. And within the auto space, it's Tata Motors that's now back in action. Just a while ago, Gaurang had given us his view on Tata Motors and preferred this stock. And right now, it's again up about 1,000 odd levels that can be seen on Tata Motors again. Mitesh, your view on both these stocks now, Tata Motors from the auto space and Coal India from the energy basket?
Yes, see, technically both are looking promising. I think we have discussed just now that Tata Motor has crossed the 1,000 mark level, which is a psychological one. So with a stop of 980, one can go long at 120, 140 kind of a target. It is definitely a re-rating now, and the stock may test 1100 sooner than later. As far as Coal India is concerned, again, after a breather, stock is looking very promising at the current level, and one should definitely go long in the Coal India as well. The structure is looking promising. If you look at the first 15 minutes or half an hour chart, it is also giving us the signal that the stock is here to stay for a longer. So as far as Coal India is concerned, at the current level 486, looking promising for an intraday with a stop of 480. One can go long for a potential target of 495 and 500 for the day. And within the same space, one thing which is looking very promising, Sakshi, is Concor. If you look at the Concor, above 1100, it has given a very strong breakout. The stock is trading at 1108 as far as FNO is concerned, June contract. And we are of the view that with a stop of 1090, one can go long at the current level. For an intraday, we are looking at 1125 and 1140 as the two target. The structure is looking very promising, heart of our bottom formation on 5 minutes and 15 minutes charts. Probably we will get a breakout, the second confirmation of the breakout above 11,012, 1112. And if that sustained on the hourly chart at 10:15, probably the stock will head for 1130 or 40 for the day.
9:51, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a detour into the markets. Let's look at how indices are performing. And Sakshi, what's really interesting is that the Bank Nifty has some mojo left in it, despite it being a weekly expiry, 212 points higher, 49,917 as far as the index is concerned. We track 19 indices for you, ladies and gentlemen. Out of 19 today, you have a vast majority of them in the green, led by the IT index, and of course a very, very strong move that is coming into a lot of PSU stocks. What else is moving? Well, it's the telecom space, like I had discussed earlier. A nice block deal happening on Tata Tele Maharashtra of about 92 crore rupees, 76 crore rupees again. So this is a counter that is in action and coming back into the radar as far as markets are concerned is BEL, 290.6, 291.25 in the FNO space, 1.3% higher. So parts of the defense counters are also moving in shape. Let's look at some other stocks. Cummins, 2.25% higher, 36.45. You have a strong move coming on Elecon Engineering. So these are the capital goods spaces that are doing phenomenally well. We track how many, about 40 capital goods stocks for you, and out of 40 there are barely 7 that are in the red. So all of them doing pretty well. Kirloskar Brothers, Sakshi 10% higher, New Digit 2000, Elecon 7% higher, 1260. This would be a fresh high, I'll check. TVS Solutions we've checked. Kirloskar Pneumatic 6% higher, 1316. Praj, TRIL, Linde India, General Electric transformers and distributors up 4%. Very, very strong move coming in. Within the capital goods space, Mitesh ji, what catches your fancy?
Within the capital goods space, I think L&T is looking very promising on the chart. If you look at the structure of L&T, it is showing that the stock is now going forward, will enter into a new trading range at around 36.38, which is right now currently trading. Stock has given a breakout above 3580 and now will be heading for 37 to 37.50. So yes, within that space, L&T is looking promising.
Okay, what else is moving, Sakshi? Tata Motors, and now within the F&O space, Tata Motors is the most active counter, even in cash. Now about 600 crores worth of transactions have been done, 602. So this is something that we have to check. Again, back in 4 digits, 1005. Let me just see what the all-time high of Tata Motors is. I distinctly remember this was somewhere in February, and of course it is in 1 second, let me just see. Okay, yes, this was February and it was 1065. So some way to go, but it's there. And all-time favorites, Siemens at 7076. This is doing well. Container Corporation, both of you have already discussed, almost 2% higher, 1110, and a 2.4% uptick coming in Siemens India. Coal India also doing pretty well, 2.2% higher, 489. Overall, Sakshi, I think it's a great day. We have a nice shade of green across the board as far as the Nifty is concerned, 121 points higher, 300 points higher on the IT index, and 140 points higher on the Nifty 500. That goes on to show that the rally is broad-based. The gains on the Nifty 500 are more than Nifty and Bank Nifty. Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail. Turning out to be a solid session for now. Let's hope this level sustains in the markets. Even if it consolidates around this level, will be good. 122 points higher on the Nifty, 23,388 as far as the Nifty is concerned. All the sectors, barring the FMCG index, they're all into the green now. Even the realty has come back. India VIX is down by 2.2% at 14.4, which is comfortable. Now, when we look at the other broader markets, of course, the small caps and the mid caps are almost 1% higher, so doing better than the benchmark indices at this point in time. Among the top contributors on the Nifty, when we look at the kind of gains that we are getting as of now, we'll see HDFC Bank again contributing about 22 points, Reliance 14 points, ICICI Bank 12 odd points, L&T, Infosys, HCL Tech, Bharti Airtel. These are the top contributors as far as the markets are concerned on the Nifty pack. Well, we'll thank you, Mitesh, for being with us on this very special edition and sharing your wonderful ideas and thoughts with all our viewers too. And viewers, we'll wrap it up at that. With that, thank you so much from both Shail and me. The Nifty Bank is back above 50,000 marks, so that's again another good sign on the day of the weekly expiry, 0.6% higher. We'll track that one towards the end of the session now. Stay tuned. A lot of action-packed day. It follows on your screens.
So let me begin by saying that it's for me an immense honor, a very great privilege to be once again given the responsibility of leading the Ministry of External Affairs. You all know that in the last term, this ministry actually performed exceptionally well. It rose to many challenges. We delivered where the G20 presidency was concerned. We took on the